I'm here with Alan, the co-founder and builder of the Eco Voltz bikes, to give us some top tips on how to maintain our bike so it stays in great condition. So what should I do, Alan, if I've been out on my bike and it's come back covered in mud?
Great question. We've had many of the bikes come back from hire this weekend and from riders coated in mud. One thing is, I would say, do not, under any circumstances, use a jet washer. As tempting as it may be, it's not a good thing to do. Certainly you can use it on the tyres and around the tyres, but not in the wheels, especially not on the rear wheel, which has the motor in it. Water and electrics don't mix. Likewise, in the centre of the bike, which has the main controller, all the electronics are in there. Don't jet wash that. Wash it down with a bucket and sponge as you would your own car. Just get the mud off, sponge it down and dry it immediately. Don't leave it dripping wet in the shed, garage or barn.
Got to make sure that it's cleaned properly, listeners, or else you can end up in more trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. It will cause more problems than you've got with mud if you jet wash it and leave it full of water.
Thank you so much, Alan, for your amazing Eco Voltz top tips.
Thank you very much.
Listeners, welcome to the Thorseby Eventing Spring Carnival review show, very kindly supported by Eco Voltz. But as you can tell, I'm the one hosting this, and Nicole was hosting the preview show, and that is, of course, because she has had a baby. She's got a new addition to the family. Huge congratulations to Nicole and Oliver and her whole family. Toby looks like the best big brother, doesn't he, Catherine?
He does so far, bless him, yes. And a little Benjamin,
yes.
It's very sweet. So I hope they're all having a nice time. And yes, well, we've been thinking about eventing actually, I think Nicole did go to Thorseby.
She did, yeah.
She's such an out-and-out eventing fan straight geek that she parcelled up her very small new baby and her toddler, and off she went. That's dedication for you.
Oh, it really is. She is a miracle woman. I would not be able to do that. But in true Nicole fashion, she was on it there, ready to watch the eventing. And it was an incredible, incredible event. I just want to say, before we get stuck into all the action and looking at the Grantham Cup and the other 4-star section, just a huge hats off to everybody at Thorseby and Bede Events, because wasn't it just a great event, Catherine, to be able to carry on with the very difficult build-up that we've had?
I think they did amazingly. I drove north from Gloucestershire to Newcastle on Thursday to work at Newcastle Racecourse on Friday. And the weather I drove through was unbelievable, just horrific. And I thought to myself, oh, well, poor old, Stuart Bunting and his team, poor old Thorseby. And Stuart must have a gigantic plastic bubble or something he puts over Thorseby, because it was fine. And they did brilliantly. And what a relief for them, for the spectators, for the sponsors, for everyone involved, and particularly the riders who needed their runs, of course, to be able to have, good, satisfactory, safe runs.
No, I totally agree, because the pictures of the cross-country course and everything, the grass looks so green. It's obviously being cared for incredibly well. And like I say, it's just so important for the sport as a whole, as well as all the competitors who are looking to get their runs before their big plans this year.
And the spectators, and how lovely for everyone on the Easter weekend. And it was reasonable weather for most of the time. So yes, well done, everybody.
So hopefully you didn't get too wet doing your Easter egg hunt. That's the most important thing here. Now, looking at the Grantham Cup, it was back-to-back wins in the Grantham Cup for Emily King, Valmy Biats. Now, we put them up coming into the competition because, like we say, they had success last year. Weren't they just fantastic, Catherine? Jumping double clear, they had a 23.2. This is their happy hunting ground, isn't it?
Yes, I'm rather pleased with myself, because I did actually, for once, tip the right winner, I think. Well, I certainly mentioned her anyway. Yes, fair play to Emily King. She led throughout, and that's always a very satisfying and impressive way to win. 23.2 dressage. One of the, I think, second fastest round of the day cross country. Finished on a 29.6, well ahead, actually, of Austin O'Connor and Colorado Blue, who finished on 36.4 in second. And this is, these are major wins. The Grantham Cup is a significant prize in the British eventing calendar. So very well done to them, and should give them a big confidence boost before badminton.
I think it's going to be really interesting talking to badminton when we rerun our prediction centre once we've got Thorseby results in, and maybe once we've got Burnham Market results in, because that's just around the corner as well, as to how that shakes up our predictive chances. Because at the minute, Emily King, Valmy Biat's on a 3% win chance, I think just outside the top 10 on prediction centre. I think this win could really shake up that prediction centre and hopefully see her creep a little bit further up. I think it's going to be very interesting how these runs do affect what our stats think going into badminton.
Yeah, there's quite a big difference, obviously, between a 6-minute 45 cross-country course and an 11-minute 5-star track. But I thought probably the most interesting bit was that Emily said that how much more rideable Valmy Biat's was, that she was prepared to set him up everywhere that he needs setting up, and he didn't need it. And I think that's encouraging to him getting the trip round a 5-star track.
We're talking of prediction centre, because you were very surprised in the preview show that they were so far down the prediction centre. Colorado Blue, Austin O'Connor, fastest round of the day with only 6 time penalties, jumped double clear on a 30.4. They just loved the mud, don't they?
Well, I think they're just a very experienced cross-country pair that understand and have the experience to go in the mud, and it wasn't deep mud on the cross-country. What's interesting is that they're not entered for badminton, which has only just occurred to me.
I thought that. I don't know. They're not in badminton. They're not in Kentucky. Whether they'll be just going for the 4-star route, like we know that Laura was.
That's fair enough. You know, they're 5-star winners, and they've obviously got tons of experience under their belts. They don't need probably to prove themselves around the longer track. But I thought it was quite interesting because, never knock the chance of a badminton win, Austin. But with their very popular combinations, and he was 1 second faster than Emily and was the fastest of the day. And then there's quite a few time faults, after that, those 2 on sort of 6, and then pretty much everyone else nearly in the teens, really, as far as cross-country time faults are concerned.
Yeah, they are. If we look further down the leaderboard, 3rd place, Yaz Ingham, Banzai de Loire, another great run for that pair, really setting them up well for Kentucky, because like we said in the preview show, Burnham Market is very soon, but that's very close for when they've got to be getting on a plane and going out to the US. So it's quite important that this run goes well for those combinations who are looking to head out to Kentucky. Same dressage score as Emily King, 23.2, jumped double clear, like you say, Catherine picked up, but into the teens and the time penalties, 13.2. But I think that will set them up with a lot of confidence before heading out to Kentucky to try and put that 20 penalties right from last year.
Yes, absolutely. And all of these top few in the placings are very, very, are great combinations. Tim Price and Vitali in 4th, London 52 and Laura Collett in 5th, Isolot DHI and Ros Cantor in 6th. There's some serious quality at the top of that. So even though Emily King belongs in that company, full credit to her for topping it.
Oh, 100%.
Very pleased to see Laura Collett finishing with 2 horses in the top 10, 7th on the lovely Hester.
Yes, I wanted to mention her. Yeah. She's really nice. Definitely one to watch, because I think she's entered in badminton, and she took that amazing win last year in the 3-star Aston LaWalls with like a 21.1 was their dressage score. I seriously think a beautiful, beautiful horse if you see her. She's like white, but a really, really nice addition to Laura's string coming up through the levels.
Yes, she's got Hester and Bling in at badminton, and everyone needs to have something apart from London 52 in their stables, they really do. And dear Topspin and Alice Casburn, 8th in this. What a cracking combination they are.
Oh, they are class, jumping machines, and in an event like this where they're not going to be leading after the dressage, they just work their way up through those jumping phases, and they're just so consistent. That's what I love about the pair, is they're just ridiculously consistent.
35.5 is no dressage particularly to write home about, but if you can add as few penalties as that as possible, you can finish in the top 10 of a competitive class, of course. Happy Boy and Tim Price, ninth. There's a lot of interesting things happening around the Price horses, which we sort of need to get our heads around because there's quite a lot of them. And they are coming out and shining. We didn't see with their big yard move last year, perhaps as much of them as we might have thought. So I think there's so many. I don't know what order the Tim Price's horses are thought of, or what he thinks of them ahead of, well, the fairly obvious Olympics, but also the other massive events this year. But it'll be interesting to see. Thrilled to see Tom Rowland and Dreamliner in 10th, who I think I did give a bit of a mention to as well. They will go to their first badminton together, full of confidence as well.
You did very well, actually, with your predictions.
I know,
Catherine.
so unlikely.
We got to take note of what you say then at Burnham Market, because this year it could be your year for everything to be going right on the prediction front. But you're right with the prices. I can't keep up with who they've got out where, because they are just relentless at keep bringing out these amazing horses. It'd be really interesting as well to look at the world number one stand-ins at the end of this year with the horses that they've got, because they can almost hit every big event this year because they have so many in their stable. Yes, they're going to be going hopefully to the Olympics, but the 5 stars they can hit with every other horse that they've got. And with Vitali, I thought was very interesting, as he jumped clear in the show jumping, which we know at 5 star that can be his weaker area, but actually that was their first clear show jumping internationally since 2021, when they jumped clear at Le Moulin 4-star short. So they haven't jumped clear internationally since, but they did this weekend at Thorseby in that 4 short. So I know it's only a 4 short, and normally, obviously in the 5 stars, you jump on the last day. But whether that's something they've been working on in the winter, because if it is, watch out for them at badminton, because their dressage score, as we know, can be seriously low. At Burley last year with that 18.7. So if that jumping phase is improving, look out.
Yeah, and actually the one horse that didn't jump clear that you'd expect to, I mean, let's point out that absolutely every horse on the planet can have a rail. They are horses, not machines. But Lordship's Gruffalo did have a pole down. I shouldn't be worried about that. And he's still, he's pretty cool, isn't he? The reigning European champion, the reigning badminton winner, etc., etc. But he was one who did have a pole this time. And actually Roz had... 3 horses in the top 13, I guess, with Isolot in 6th, Lordship's Gruffalo 12th, and MHS 17 in 13th.
It'd be really interesting with Isolot because he's entered in both Kentucky and badminton. So I'm really intrigued to see where she goes. Like we said in the previous show, it's very difficult this time of year because we don't know what everybody's plans are for Olympics and 5 stars and things like that. So it always does make this time of year a little bit harder to predict. But I thought it was very interesting that she was entered in both.
Yeah, and I have no information on this except that I suspect if you've booked a flight to Kentucky, you'd want to be on it, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But yes.
She's just keeping her options open. Are there any others that you want to mention, Catherine?
Well, lots of people had good, steadier runs. There are lots of horses down the order that are going to 5 stars with quite a lot of time faults. Pippa Funnel had a tumble from Billy Walk-On. I think she's fine, but a bit sore. A few people didn't run cross country, such as Vondrady Biatz, Cooley Rosalind, things like that. But all in all, it was a pretty smart class, and it's nice that Emily King, as well as winning the class, she also wins the Polly Phillips Memorial Trophy for the highest placed British rider who hasn't ridden on a British team. And for those of us who remember Polly Phillips, what a great local rider to that area she was. And then the other 4-star short section, Rosie.
Yes, the other one, I must say, this is where I was quite chuffed because I said that Tim Price and Girillo were going to take the win. So that was my highlight of the weekend from our predictions earlier.
Well, he was more surprised than we were.
But again, a lot of people in that class just taking it a little bit slower. I mean, it was Tim Price who took the win with Girillo with a total score of 50, a 30.8 in the first phase, jumped double clear, just picking up that 19.2 time. But as we head down, Gaspard Maxud was very, very fast. Well, classic Frenchman. He is known to be quite a fast rider with Can Do too. Only 4.4 time, which I thought was a really great round for the pair.
That actually must be the fastest of those 2 4-star classes.
I think it was.
Very well done to Gubby Leach for finishing second in that class on direct Ballytasna du Corral, who is normally the ride of Jodie Amos, who is having another baby. And it's a very nice spare ride to have picked up for Gubby, and they seem to be starting in fine fashion.
Very, very good indeed. Tom Woodward had a great start to the season with Jägermeister in third.
Yes. And the Japanese seem to be hitting their targets with their qualifications and their new rides and that sort of thing. I think we mentioned Be My Daisy, right? So Kitajima's on the podcast. He had 2 horses in that class. Fair play for Jack and Jack Mantell going well in 9th on Jack Daniels, who is owned by Jack's partner, Jack Thomas Watson. There's a lot of Jacks in that.
It is a lot of Jacks going on there. Also, Tom Crisp in 5th place there with Dasset Rockstar. It was
Tom Crisp not preparing for his annual swim. Oh man, I mean, it was the greatest moment of last year in some ways, but we need to get over it and live it down because we don't actually want you to do it, Tom, again. We just thought it was really cool. That's all.
Yeah, we don't want you to go swimming. But listeners, if you do want to find out a bit more about Tom and how he juggles his life, I know that Nicole did a When Nicole Met Tom Crisp. That was either last year or early this year. I'll put the link in the show notes where you can hear all about his little swim in Badminton Lake. He's such a great sportsman with it, though, isn't he?
Yes, absolutely. No, some good results in both classes. Harry Mead had umpteen horses over those classes. And he actually now that I think Alexander Hewell has come off the badminton entries list, which means that Harry has got 3 horses into badminton, and he could, under the rules for this year, ride all 3. So he could be a busy boy.
That will be really interesting because that will be one of the first times that a rider's had 3 at badminton. Is that right?
It will be the first time. Well, God, I'm going to get this wrong now. It's the first time in the modern rules, and I think it'll be the first time since Lorna Clark so famously rode 3. And she, being a tough lady, she didn't have a groom, so she tacked up.
Wow.
One through, remember, all the long, all the proper long format phases, untacked it, washed it off, and started getting the next one ready. I doubt Harry will be doing that, but I might be wrong.
That is absolutely insane. I didn't know that. That's just madness.
I think we should mention that Molly Summerland and Flo won the normal advance section. I mean, it seems about 10 minutes since Flo was a novice. I'm sure it's not, but certainly a young horse who has progressed up the order quickly.
Yes, so definitely.
Well done to them.
No, a really, really class horse for Molly. Again, dressage is, I'd say, the phase that she excels at, the phase that she loves the most, and it's coming through with all her horses up through the levels. But Flow 7, very, very rarely above that mid-20s range, which is seriously impressive. And actually, Emma Thomas in that advanced section was the winner of the under-25 class. They're all put in together with the normal advanced.
Oh, yes.
So Emma Thomas Buzz Factor won the under 25s, and Ellie Fredericks and Pure Trendsetter was second, which I know could be.
Fredericks old enough to be riding at advanced.
She'd be absolutely delighted with that. I know that she adores Pure Trendsetter. I think it picked up an injury last year at the Young Rider Europeans. So great to see them back out and coming out with a bang. And Millie Jalef there in third with Victor Crum, their first time at the advanced level. The pair who had multiple victories at the 3-star level last year. Millie, of course, who also has Pencos Crown Jewel now from Ros Cantor. So it could be a very exciting year for Millie Jalef.
Yes, and actually there's 2, I know this is supposed to be concentrating on the international class, 2 people I'd like to mention with a racing connection in that advanced class. 6th was Lily Bradstock on 2 Chocolat. Lily is amazing girl because she rides in loads of point to point. She's comes from a famous racing family. She also events at this level, and she lost her father, the Cheltenham Gold Cup winning trainer Mark Bradstock, very recently. So chin up, Lily. I think you're amazing. And also in the under 21 OI, this is a cool result. Sarah Farnsworth, who won on the Ridge Cardento, and I think she's just taken this ride over from her sister Ruth. The Farnsworths are a really great family from the Duke of Buccleuch country in the Scottish borders. And actually, their father, Bill Farnsworth, is the general manager at Musselburgh Racecourse. And very sadly, Musselburgh lost their big days racing of the year, their ITV days racing on Saturday to the weather conditions, including, Rosie, the coolest thing of the year, which is the Corgi Derby.
Ooh.
Yes, honestly, loads of corgis going flat out over a short distance. You can't beat it. But hopefully that might have cheered Bill up a bit, the fact that his talented daughters, one of them won the OI, under 21 OI here.
Well, hopefully, like you say, that does cheer them up. Corgi racing, are they quite fast or not?
Well, no, but very funny and quite, shall we say, I was going to say dogmatic, but that would be very silly. Quite punchy in their attitude to the whole thing.
I love it. That
makes terrier racing look really dull. The Corgi Derby is a must next year at Musselburgh.
Oh, that's something I'm going to come off this call and start Googling Corgi racing.
Burnham Market next, which we will talk about in due course.
Burnham Market next, indeed. That's where we see a lot of these competitors moving on to. But actually, there's one more I want to mention, and that's a special mention to Annabelle Ridgway, who not only got to pick up her amazing prize of the Eco Voltz Eventer bike this weekend. Eco Voltz, of course, who are supporting our preview and review here at Thorseby. Annabelle got to go and pick up her prize for winning the Pony 2-star at Osberton last year. So she went and picked up her Eco Voltz bike, but she also had an amazing weekend because she then went on to win the Project Pony combined training. And I think it's so great that the Project Pony organisation has taken off like it has, and that they were able to do dressage and show jumping at such a prestige event like Thorsby. It's a great experience for them, isn't it, Catherine?
Yes, definitely. And Project Pony, is a thoroughly good thing, and encouraging and giving children who might not have the opportunity to ride top class eventing ponies, giving them help and support, and obviously, helping with these classes as well. And the family that support it are huge supporters of eventing. And yes, it's a thoroughly good thing all round.
Well, Catherine, thank you so much for coming on our Thorsby Eventing Spring Carnival review show, very kindly supported by Eco Voltz. It was just a fab weekend all round, wasn't it?
Yeah, a very good weekend, very good for international eventing to be thoroughly back in this country. Well done again to Stuart Bunting and his team. And here's on to the next one.
Well, listeners, don't forget to check out the Bede Events Leagues, because there's loads of leagues going on this year, but especially the Eco Voltz League, because it allows any horse and rider combination who are competing at a Bede event this year to join the league. You have to register, but you can join the league then. And what I love is it takes into consideration results across multiple different levels. So the events this year include Osby, Thorsby, Solihull, Osberton, Shelford, BCA, Catton Park and Brightling Park. So plenty of events all across multiple levels, and riders can then just pick up points throughout the year. Currently leading it after 2 events that we've had so far is Lily Barnett with 20 points. Do go and check it out, because it is lovely that it takes into consideration points across all different levels, because as we know of eventing, you're not very often just sticking at one level throughout the year. You do like to go up and down. So do go and check out the Eco Voltz Bede Events League, because you can win a fantastic prize with this. You not only get to win an Eco Voltz electric bike, but you also win a sponsorship package for the 2025 season. So it's definitely something to keep your eye on. On we go to Burnham Market. But thank you very much, listeners, for tuning in. And of course, thank you so much to Eco Voltz for their continued support of the Eventing podcast. And I think we'll be able to see them next at badminton. So make sure you have Eco Voltz on your badminton shopping list so you can go and check out some of their bikes and have a little whiz round. But that's all we've got time for now. Thank you for tuning in.
Hi, Sarah from Foreign Equine here. Did you know that keeping your horse's gut microbiome healthy is one of the most important things that you can do as a horse owner, and that it has far-reaching effects on their overall health, disease risk, and behaviour? The microbiome is constantly challenged due to changes in diet or management, travelling, stress, medication, and wormers. Foreign Equine's NutriGuard is a next-generation gut balancer containing 12 different ingredients, including pre- and postbiotics, pectin, and beta-glucans, as well as essential amino acids and B vitamins. It is formulated by our expert team of nutritionists and veterinarians and supported by science, making it a must-have in any feed room.